Come on, that's not loud enough. Ladies and gentlemen, let's just bring them on out. I'm so excited. First up, you know Miss Foggy. He's coming. How you on, man? Next up, Daredevil Panel! I loved her as Elektra. Elena Young! She's the night nurse, Rosario Dawson! Last but not least, there's one more. Mr. Daredevil himself, Charlie Potts! Thank you guys for doing this. How fun is this con experience meeting the fans? I imagine you guys are starting to do this a lot. You're in such a hit show. Like, tell me about that experience. Does it still sort of blow your mind that all these people are just here dying to meet these characters and you guys?
For me, it's quite new. It's the second convention I do, and I really like it. It's always a nice moment to meet, people who genuinely love the show, and so I'm having a good time.
Yeah, thanks for coming out on a Sunday. That's so cool, you guys. Thank you.
I'm curious. So, I mean, it's an amazing show, you guys. But there was a previous on-screen incarnation of this Daredevil franchise. Was there any trepidation when you got the project, or was it just so good you knew this was going to blow fans' minds?
I didn't know what it was when I auditioned for it. It's not a joke, I really didn't. And when I got the first two scripts, they were amazing. So
none of you watched the movie before you started?
I know. I know.
Well, be honest, what was it?
Scared.
I felt the pressure, if anything. Not necessarily scared because I read the material, so I knew what we were doing was amazing. But I just felt that pressure of other people like wondering and feeling that, and just wanting to make sure that what we were doing was going to be able to hold on its own and not have to be about being better than something or different, but just being its great own thing.
When I'm a big Riff Tracks fan, and they did a riff of the original Daredevil movie, so I watched that. I watched the riff of the movie, and now they are going to riff the first episode of our Daredevil.
Are you joining? You should join them.
No, I'm terrified. Are you kidding? I don't actually watch the show, so I was like, I don't know if the first time I watch my series should be with my heroes mocking me. But I think that's like a fun little crossover for me, at least.
Oh, that's a great cut. I love you even more that you love Riff Tracks. Charlie, did you watch the movie before at any point?
I did. I mean this. I do think that Ben Affleck did a great job. I actually really liked his Matt Murdock. I think the movie has some problems. It was fun to watch. I think our show is totally completely different. So it's very hard to compare the two. But I did have a friend who, when I got the job, he was visiting New York and we went out for coffee and he said, "Did you get the Daredevil job?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "The bar is low."
Not anymore, Charlie. Not anymore.
Not anymore. Very true.
Well, you guys have done so much even beyond Daredevil. Is it true, Eldon, that you were a baby model?
Sorta. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I started out doing like print ads and stuff.
But you've been doing like ducks. I mean, so much fun stuff throughout the whole time, right? But all of you have done so much fun work. Is there one role or part in the past that you wish you could be blind to? Get it? Because you guys have done so much over the years. Is there one part you'll admit, you know what, I don't want that one on my record?
A job we've done.
Yeah, like a past part or role. Because you've been in
Yeah, for sure. Are you guys actually struggling to think?
I go through it. It's a lot of you guys have all done so much amazing work.
I like go through my resume. I'm like, there's a couple that I'm like proud. The rest,
What's the one that comes to your head?
So I did a Spanish movie that when I signed up for it, I thought it was kind of interesting. It had some interesting people attached. When I got there, it was basically a porno. And it's maybe the most horrible movie you've ever seen in your life.
I don't know.
Oh no, trust me. Okay, let me give you an example. The guy who wrote it didn't speak English. He wrote it in English. There's a scene in the film where the other English actor says to me, and they wouldn't let us change anything. We tried to help them, they weren't having it. And there was one scene where this guy says, do you want, I have to see her again, the girl he loves, I have to see her again. And I have to say back to him, do you want me to went with you? Instead of, do you want me to go with you?
You did try it, you wouldn't let you change it?
No, I asked them, I said I can change it if you want, they said no. So I'm like, fine, I'll exactly how it's written.
I gotta look this up. Anybody else? Can you admit one?
I just, when I have folks come up for signing, I love all your movies. I'm like, you clearly have not seen all of them. Because only my mom likes Pluto now.
All right, I'll let the rest of you off the hook. But we have so many questions from fans. I wanted to grab some. Let's start there. Let's go on this side first. Hello. What's your question for the cast?
Hi,
It's alright.
okay. So my name is Leslie, and I'm here with my sister Sarah and her friend Peyton. And my sister Sarah is the real big Daredevil fan here, and I'm not really knowing what's going on with the show. So do you mind reenacting part of the show?
I'll sit in. It's like a regular episode.
You know, there's a couple of great scenes between Foggy and Karen that I think we should.
This is great.
I don't remember anything. Are you kidding me? It was like almost a year ago when we wrapped season 2, and then, trust me, as soon as the lines go in, they go right out of my head.
I'm not convinced they ever go in, buddy.
Fair enough. That's true. That's true.
He was talking to me, sorry. I wasn't into that.
Well, it looks like that's what you're going to get. That was pretty good, though. I accept it. Good question. Let's go over here.
Hi. So my question is for Deborah. I was wondering if you, what you think Karen's going to do with now that she knows that Matt is Daredevil.
Yeah. I mean, I'm as curious as the rest of you because we have seen nothing. Like, this is a really good time to do a con because we don't have any more information than you do, so we can't screw ourselves over.
When does it start filming? Oh, you guys don't know.
No, I mean, it's such a huge moment, and I'm sort of hoping that down the line it'll lead Karen to revealing her own secrets, because it's a big deal for him to tell her that he's Daredevil, but it's also a big deal for her to be like, yeah, I killed the guy. So I feel like I'm hoping it will lead to some opening up on her part.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
But would you be mad?
I mean, that's a tough one. I mean, we even talked about it, like whether he should use his cane in that last scene, and I was like, no, because that's kind of another lie. So yeah, you have to think about like every minute is sort of a little bit of a not totally honest moment. So I hope it's a turning point where they can be really honest with each other going forward.
And you know, the question is, what's better? Is it better that he's Daredevil or better that he's an alcoholic?
Right.
How would each of you react if you found out one of your best friends was a superhero? Would you be excited? Would you be nervous? Would you?
I'd be so excited. I'd be so excited. I'd be like, can we shop for costumes together? Should we get like a bat phone kind of situation? So like, signal, like do the whole thing.
Would anyone actually be pissed?
Well, I think it depends what they do. I mean, like, Daredevil beats people to a bloody pulp. And, like, Karen's super into that. She thinks that's really cool. So I hope that that'll outweigh the anger. But on the other hand, like, you know, if you're like, I rescue kittens from trees, like, yeah, you're a superhero.
It doesn't kill anyone, right?
It doesn't kill anyone.
You might beat them up
Karen
enough
is
to
now
die
a
later.
Punisher, so.
True. All right, let's grab another question over here. Oh, yes, you, sir.
Do you guys know that if Bullseye or Electro will be the next villain in season 3?
I assume they don't know, but how about, who do you want to be
Look at me,
next?
I don't know anything.
Do you want her to be a villain? villain like in season 3?
I would love to die many times, you know? But I'm sorry, we really, as you know, Karen, sorry, I'm in Daredevil today. As Deborah said, we don't know anything, so hopefully, you know, that'd be a good character to bring, I think, in the show.
Are there any other people you want to see like Bullseye or
A
Superman?
fan yesterday said they would love to see Bullseye and they thought Norman Reedus would be very cool. That's nothing official. Like,
If he dies a lot in death this season, he has no idea what she's just done.
sorry.
That's totally in the news. Just announced Norman Reedus as Bullseye. Good question, dude. Thank you so much. Over here.
Hi guys. So with season 3, of course, you
English.
Yep.
We're all friends in England. Hey, buddy.
So of course, you guys know nothing about season 3, but what would you predict for season 3?
I mean, it's so hard to talk. You know, the season 2 was left so open-ended, so it's very hard to know. But I think, and this is again, I have to preface this by saying this is really is a guess. But I think what we saw in terms of Matt and Daredevil and that journey that he's on, the personal journey that he's on, where we get to the end of season 2 and he kind of fails. You know, nothing kind of really works out in the end. And for him at the end of season 2, which is one of the reasons I loved what the writers did with that season, because it's nice to see. I think it's important to see the failures as well as the successes. I think one of the reasons that has to happen is because going into the Defenders, Matt is going to have to learn that he needs help, that he can't do all this alone, and that maybe some teamwork is going to actually be beneficial. So whatever lessons he learns in the Defenders will then play into, I think, season 3 and how he goes forward from there. If that makes sense.
Also, Charlie, I thought you were great in Stardust.
Really exciting. Rosario, I'm curious. Did you know that that the night nurse would become this thread through all of these shows ahead of time? When did you find that out? How do you feel about that now?
I think it's awesome. I did not know. I mean, I've been signing on every year, just on its own. So it's never even, I think you signed on for a few years, depending on, it's still not knowing if it would happen, 25 years. I feel like I've had a really different sort of experience in that, where I just really don't know. And then when I do sign up, I sign up for episodes, but they don't tell me which shows. So I have no idea. I'm just sort of working and have this question mark for the entire year of just when are they going to call me in for what and how is it going to show up. And when I do, I come in pretty late. So I won't get those first couple of episodes. I think that's what happened in the second season when I came on. They didn't send me any of the previous episodes, so I suddenly just came in the middle of all of this insanity, and they're like, you'll watch it at the premiere like the rest of us. So I don't know exactly. My character is sort of a little standalone in that sense, because I come in on those very particular moments of needing to be helping a situation, so I don't really know all the preamble and everything that got us there. And then I get the following episode, so it's really fun to follow, but I really have no idea.
But you
this
do
is where they inject me where Claire needs to, seal and solve a wound. That's where I come in.
Well, there was one thing that I thought was really cool is in the second season, we had a scene together, and we in the storyline we hadn't seen each other for a long time, and when it took place at the hospital, and Claire Temple has a cut on her eyebrow. So I was like, what's that to do with? And apparently it had nothing to do with our world, but it's part of Luke Cage. So that the timeline had been kind of thought through and worked out so that whatever was going on in Luke Cage, which I don't know, but somehow at some point during that show, the next day she's in the hospital talking to me, which I just think, just those little nuggets I think are really cool.
It's a serious continuity. Yeah. They're like, oh, we're giving her a scar here, so you got it on this episode. Elodie, you real black belt in karate? Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is this yeah? Is this role a dream for you? Just because I imagine it's like the coolest job as a black belt to then become Electra. Like,
Yeah, but I think what really excites me about the buff is that there's more to her than just being a real badass. And I really enjoy when I have my costume and I look in the mirror and I'm like, whoa, now I'm going to get some crazy badass. I like it. It's really cool. Yeah. But you know, she's so interesting to try to understand that. So that's really what I enjoy the most, you know, playing her, being her.
no, and kudos, because that was one of my first reactions when I watched the depth you were bringing. There was way more to it than just the standard superhero girl in a show. So, yeah, round of applause. She brought so much. Do you, now that I'm firing you up, do you think you actually could kick everybody's ass up here?
Charlie tried hard, like he trained hard, so I think I might struggle a bit, but yeah, still, yeah.
All right, I think we're back on this side for questions. Yeah, go ahead.
Hey y'all. I was just wondering, since we the fans get to ask you questions all the time, if you had a question for the fans, what would it be?
Where's the closest bathroom?
I don't know. There, maybe. Any other questions for the fans? That was a good one. There you go. Where's the bathroom?
Down the hall, I think.
You do better.
What about the thing we were talking about? Yes, what?
Definitely talk about the thing we talked about.
Well, I don't really know what I'm trying to think how to phrase it, but we were just talking like that.
Sorry. I was thinking, how do I not open up a trapdoor?
Well, we were talking about, I think, like the amount of effort and time that it takes to come to one of these and like be a fan and sort of, yeah, like where that commitment comes from. Because we were trying to think like who are like our people where we could like spend, you know, wait in line for 4 hours. And it's incredible that you guys do that. And so we were trying to figure out like who would our people be that we would wait in line 4 hours for. And so I'd love to know like where that passion comes from. And like we were like, it's sort of sad that like we don't love anything that much. Like, I love something as much as they do.
Riff tracks.
I love riff tracks a lot. I really do love riff tracks.
That's a good question. Who would you each wait in line for several hours to meet? There's got to be somebody. You probably met them on.
Nelson Mandela, right?
Yeah, I said Nelson Mandela, yeah.
I mean, you've met a lot of amazing people too.
I know, but there's only been ever one human being that I couldn't go and talk to, and I mean, I even mustered it up to talk to David Bowie, and that was a big deal. And it was also weird because I'm friends with his wife, so she was like, "Why are you being so weird?" And I'm like, "It's just, it's the way I do." But I circled Tim Curry at an upfronts once. And literally, this is years ago now, and I learned at a previous con in Calgary, actually, that he had a stroke and he's wheelchair bound, which made me really sad. But it's cool that he's kind of coming back in Rocky Horror as Dr. Scott in the wheelchair, so it's kind of amazing. But, you know, I was wondering why he was gone, and I miss him so much, and he can do everything, and I had seen him at this thing, so I really regret it, but I just knew if I heard his voice in real life, I mean, I'm going back to like Ferngully, Legends, Clue, like everything. I'm obsessed with Curry, like. So I circled him. And I got close enough to see his mouth really moving, but I didn't get even close enough to hear his voice because I thought I would faint. I really did. He's the only person I'm like really weird about. I'm okay with that.
If you asked Tim Curry who he'd love to meet, he said, you know, Rosario Dawson circled me.
Good question, Lee. All right, over here this side.
My question is for Deborah. Will you give me a hug?
Yes.
I would be happy to.
Oh.
How do we do this?
You're not supposed to, but
My
I guess.
boyfriend's showing up soon though, so it has to be.
Work your way over here quickly. We'll try and sneak it in. Question over here. No more hugs. He's small and cute.
I have a question for all of you. If your characters had a karaoke go-to karaoke song for you?
Oh, I love that question. Good question. Melody, say start over here. Yeah, go-to karaoke song?
For Electra, I don't know, any song that involves size and killing. Any suggestion? I don't know.
Hit the floor!
Which one?
Let the bodies hit the floor.
I should learn this one. Thank you.
Deborah?
I don't remember. Jessica was always Sex and Candy. I love that song from Jessica.
See Playground, yeah.
Yeah, Sex and Candy. But for Karen, I don't know. Here comes the boom. Something like you don't know it's coming, but
Not the Kevin James movie, though.
just the song.
Yeah, yeah. Eldon?
Chumbawamba?
All right. They only have that one song, so we all know what you meant.
Heal the world. Make it a better place.
And the Mirror Street,
I like big butts and I can't believe
There you go. Good answer. Good question. Now let's go back over here. So many of you want to ask.
Hi, I'm Luke. If you guys could switch the roles that you play, like play a different character in the show, who would you like to play?
Well, if you could change your role on Daredevil, who would you want to be?
Foggy. I love donuts.
You stick.
I'd like to have had a go at Wesley. It was cool. Toby did an amazing job with that role. I thought, you know,
Yeah, he was awesome.
Madame Gao. She's so badass. There's so much. She has the best lines. She's so sarcastic.
you have some great microphone actually.
Thanks so much.
All right. So this came in from, we asked some of our Screen Junkie fans on the line who asked, this is the biggest question, I'm sure you've answered this a million times, but I'm doing it anyway. What MCU Marvel character do you want to appear on the show? Anybody?
I mean, we kind of had it earlier. I think if we're lucky enough to keep making this show, at some point I would love to see Bullseye show up.
No, I mean MCU as in the Avengers and all the movie people. You could bring one of them into the show. The Hulk, Captain America, Iron Man, Ant-Man.
I guess Hulk, because it would be the most bizarre. Because our world is such like gritty realism with like a little bit of magic, and then this giant green thing that just come and destroy it. That could be fun.
He needs legal services.
Yeah, exactly.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man.
That would be amazing. Still thinking?
No, I think
You agree with Spider-Man?
Yeah, that's
Those are good. Here, you know the one I
Just
wanted
to see, could you imagine that, like, you're like leaping from one building to the next, and then Spider-Man's like zipping through the other way. You guys are like, hey!
Well, since all the Netflix shows are collaborating, the one I really want is Stranger Things. Can we get Sheriff Hopper in? Right? That'd be really cool. Older or something version. All right, another question over here.
Hi. I'm asking my friend, on behalf of my friend Rose. She couldn't make it, and this is for Charlie. With everything that went on last season, it seems like the stage is being laid out for the Born Again arc. Is that an arc you're excited to adapt?
Well, Born Again is one of my favorites. So whenever there's anything that we do that kind of, you know, is reminiscent of Born Again, you know, obviously all of Miller's stuff. But you know, my understanding is that the show never tries to emulate exactly a particular run or a series because it's its own thing. You know, and as tragic as it was, killing Ben Urich was part of that idea. Was that this show is very close to the Daredevil that we love and know from the comics, but it's also, you know, no one should feel safe watching it because anything can happen. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's a great one of my favorite moments of season 2 was when we were shooting the stairwell fight scene in episode 3. A massive shout out to Phil Silvera and Chris Brewster, the stunt guys who do so much of that. When we got to the point where John is in the elevator and I come back out and I've got the gun strapped to my hand, and then there's a what they call a rack focus from the gun to my face, and I smile, and it's basically the cover of No One Mr. Nice Guy. And those moments are like, I love it when we reference a comic like that, an image that is so iconic, and we get to have it in the show. And some people pick up on it, a lot of people don't, maybe. So anything that we can do like that, all those Easter eggs, I love.
Awesome. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Over here.
Hey guys, love the show. You guys are all awesome. Two-part question. First one for Deborah. Better love interest, Karen and Matt, or Jessica and Hoyt. The second question is for Eldon. Are we ever going to see the Bash Brothers again?
I don't know. I mean, they're very different, and I don't know. I genuinely try not to think too much about my characters in terms of like who they end up with, kind of thing. So I don't know. I mean, they're very different people.
No pressure.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting question. I don't know that I've ever really thought about it, to be honest. Sorry.
So Hoyt.
I mean, I'm in this now, so probably I would go with Karen and Matt. But yeah, for the time when I was doing that, that was really special.
And the follow-up.
I hope so. I would do another one of those movies in a heartbeat.
I'm curious, since there's rumors of The Flash and Supergirl doing a musical episode, would Daredevil ever do a musical episode? Too weird, you think? Would you get excited, or would you be terrified?
I'd be terrified. Terrified.
Rosario's been auditioning on this panel.
All right, over here.
Hi. My question's for the whole cast, but specifically for Rosario Dawson. As a fellow Lower East Side girl, how does it feel to be part of a production where you're showing the sort of gritty underbelly of New York, the not glamorous part of New York?
Well, it's really weird because New York is incredibly gentrified right now. So I actually grew up in very gritty New York, and this is not very gritty New York. So they're having to use a lot of filters to make it look like that. Because, I mean, Hell's Kitchen doesn't even really exist anymore. We shot a lot of Jessica Jones and Daredevil on the Lower East Side, which is amazing and great. But when I grew up there living in a squat with one working street lamp, and no police ever came when you called them. It was a very different New York with graffiti on the trains, and it just was a really different New York. You can see it in like Dog Day Afternoon, but you don't, it's really hard to create it now. So what I love actually about it is because these stories were written in that time. And by bringing that feeling back to New York, I think there's a real connection to that. That's what people still think of New York when they go. I think they're very surprised that it doesn't, or they're happy because it's nice to have safety. Safety is a good thing. I'm not complaining about safety. It's a bit weird when like girls are walking down the street at 4 o'clock in the morning with like headphones in and like can't find my keys and like dropping their stuff on the floor and like Target, I kind of want to rob you on principle. This is still New York. Bad things still happen. But that's cool. I hope you get home safely. But like, I think it's good to kind of keep that energy of what I like about, especially with Daredevil, is that it's not necessarily super overt. There's definitely like muggings and things like that, but it's really talking about the sinister stuff that happens behind doors that we don't necessarily pay attention to. The people who we look up to and admire who are not necessarily heroes. And kind of being a little bit more thoughtful and smart about it, so it doesn't look like seedy New York. You don't just get away with just going, oh, it's just a dangerous place. It's like, no, it's a great place. It is what you make of it. And I like that evolution of New York having grown up there. I think that's cool.
Thank you. Over here.
Hey guys, long-time panel listener, first-time question asker.
Pressure.
Yeah, right. my question is, what is, for everyone, what's your favorite cereal mascot and why?
That is hard, actually.
They're not cereal, just the mascot.
Not cereal.
Mount Chocolate.
Oh, that's good. Captain Crunch, I like
Cereal,
that.
cereal characters.
Like,
They're great! Where'd you guys go? Oh, right, Europe.
Fruit Loops, that's the question you waited all these years to ask? I don't have much of a social life, so.
Did you get a good answer?
But yeah, I'm very satisfied.
Okay. I'm glad you're satisfied. Thank you, sir. Over here.
Okay, so this one is for Charlie. Since you play the man without fear in Daredevil, what in real life are you afraid of?
Large panels. That's a good question. That's a great question. Oh God, there are many things. But I'm trying to answer this question in a way that kind of seems like I've actually put some thought into it. But you know, I guess I hope this doesn't sound too trite, but the thing that one of the things I'm afraid of is you know, going home at the end of the day when you've had a job to do, or you're doing a day of filming, or you've had an important meeting or an audition, or you know, a day with a friend, or whatever. It doesn't matter really what it is, and you feel like you didn't put everything you had into it. You know, you didn't really give it your best shot. That feeling of you know what, I could have done better. I could have been I could have been more present, or more available, or more of more service, whatever it is. That's a feeling that I fear.
Thank you.
No snakes or bugs or anything? Spiders? No?
No, not really.
Good for you. Good.
Mind spiders.
Over here. Sure.
Okay, this is a question for Charlie. Just kind of wondering if it was difficult to really be able to play Matt Murdock, at least at first, given how he's supposed to be blind while at the same time might as well not be. Like, because I mean, you convey it very well, like where even though you can't see, you are still able to function perfectly in the world.
Yeah, that's a great question. It's surprisingly challenging actually, and continues to be, because the hardest thing is not necessarily what I do with my eyes, but it's, as you know, it's normally when I'm in a scene with someone like Rosario or Foggy or even Elodie, Electra, who knows about Matt and they know about his abilities. He would never have to kind of pretend to find something on a table. He would never have to not search for something using his hands in a way that he would in front of Karen, because she doesn't know about, or until now hasn't known about his his heightened senses. So it's really tricky when we're filming, and often takes up a lot of time. You know, I remember scenes with Rosario where we're chatting, and I'm both Rosario and Electra actually, and Elodie, when I'm patching them up. I'm trying to have a conversation here, and not look at the needle that is going through their skin.
It hurt me
really
every single time.
Yeah, it took a lot of time. And I remember there was one scene where it was with Rosario, we were chatting, and there was a box that I had to pick up halfway through the scene, like the suture box behind me. And the amount of times I had to be like, try, and I couldn't. That's not going to fly on camera, because Matt would never do that. He would just grab it.
Or they catch the sweater thing in the middle.
Oh yeah, that's right. In episode 4 of season 1, Claire throws the sweater at me from over there, and I have to catch it without looking at it, because he would obviously never use his eyes to catch it. So we had a guy, as soon as Rosario picked it up, we had one of the ADs in the corner go, 1, 2, 3, now! So, yeah, smooth.
Thank you.
Good question. I'm curious, how would you defeat Daredevil? Do you feel like you know a trick? Either any of your characters that could actually take him down?
What, you have to go for like his heart, like his soul, Like Karen would have to do it by getting into his heart,
Electra tries hard and doesn't really succeed to it.
I'd just poison him. I mean, he trusts me. If I was like, you need this shot, he'd take it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just kind of one of those things. I wouldn't. I'm just saying. I could, if I wanted to.
I'm curious, because Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, they're all actually really fun, but Kilgrave was such a great villain. Do you think Daredevil could have taken out Kilgrave?
I'd love to know how that would pan out. It was such a. I really enjoy. I mean, David Tennant, guys.
I think that could be our musical episode, though. Kilgrave can make us all sing for it.
Write that down, someone. Yeah, that's really good. All right, let's get a couple more questions. We'll be able to fit in. Go ahead.
First of all, that Norman Reedus thing, that was me yesterday.
Nice.
Obviously, my question is, it's a casting question. For a Marvel Cinematic Universe TV show or movie, which one would be perfect for Emily Kinney?
She's Beth from Walking Dead. She's no longer on Walking Dead. Spoiler alert.
I don't know that we know that show well enough to answer the question.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm just going to be honest. Let's just stick with Norman Reedus. That was a good one. Yeah. All right. Good try. Over here.
Okay, hi guys. First of all, I want to say really quick, Rosario, I loved you in Rent. That got me more. Good. So thank you for that. And my question is, we kind of already talked about if you could have another character on the show who you'd want to have, but if your character could be on another show, what show do you think they'd be on, would do well, kick everybody's ass, just in general?
What show? Their characters or themselves?
The characters.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to say yourself instead, that's fine, but up to you.
You stumped them.
Sorry.
I'd like to see Daredevil in Fargo. That would be really weird, but kind of appropriate.
Or The People vs. OJ. That was a good show too.
I want to patch up Nick Fury, just because everyone sort of calls me sort of the Nick Fury of our whole little world, just because I'm jumping around and everything. That'd be kind of fun. Just be like, I got you. They need you. Just like these guys need me. You got to stick around, otherwise it all falls apart.
I think Karen would be sort of oddly appropriate on Mad Men. I think that'd be kind of fun for her there, and be a strong chick there.
Law and Order. Oh my God, that'd be so dope. I'd be so excited to see you on Law and Order.
All right, I'm gonna get a couple. I know a lot of you.
Thank you so much, guys.
Okay, real quick, a couple more. Go ahead.
Hoggy on Friends.
Electra on Friends.
Over here, yeah, go ahead.
Knowing the timetable that Daredevil takes place, how would you feel about an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. crossover?
And Ghost Rider's showing up this season.
Well, I mean, Ghost Rider's cool, and he would definitely work on our show.
Are you jealous they got Ghost Rider, not you guys?
We got Punisher. I'm not worried about it. But I would love to see them face off. That would be dope.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, over here.
Hi, my name's Angela. It's a big moment for me. You guys are the first celebrities that I got to meet, so you guys are fucking phenomenal. I love you. Question for Charlie. How do you think, if you had to guess, Daredevil and Jessica Jones, how do you think they'd get along?
I'm so intrigued. I'm genuinely so intrigued to see what that relationship is going to be like. And I mean, I'm excited about all of those relationships, but I think that Danny Rand, Matt Murdock is kind of, that makes more sense to me at this point. I think that, Matt will probably take him under his wing a little bit, and I love the age difference between, I think Danny Rand's 25 and Matt's obviously in his 30s, so, and of the four, they're the two that kind of have the most iconic costumes. So, I have no idea what's going to happen, but it's kind of funny to me that of that group, we're no, we're the costume guys. You guys do the wear your home clothes at work thing. We're in spandex, okay? So, but no, the Jessica, I mean, they could love each other and they could hate each other. I have no idea. I'm very excited to see how that goes. But I think Kristen Ritter is awesome, so I can't wait to work with her.
Thank you.
Thank you. Over here, one more.
My name is Michael, and I'm asking a question for a friend who didn't make it. This is for Charlie, and his question was, playing the role of Matt Murdock, what did you learn about yourself personally playing the role of a blind person?
You think on that.
Yeah, I'll come.
One more question over here. We'll end on that. No pressure.
Oh God, no pressure. Okay, hi. Charlie, a friend introduced me.
No, I need time to think about the last.
It's a question for everybody, but it's a friend introduced me to Stardust just a couple months ago, and I fell in love with it. So I was wondering if you all.
Thanks, 11 people.
If you all had the chance to rescue a fallen star and get a wish, what would you wish for?
Oh, good. Wishes. While you figure that out.
You guys are really hard.
I wish to be able to sing and play bass like Jared Warren.
I wish I knew how to answer the last question.
I would have wished for Bernie Sanders to be president so we have universal health care. Universal health care.
Anyone else? Some more wishes?
Self-confidence.
I do love you guys. All right. That you answered the question. Give them I think that counts. How about a round of applause for these guys?